All right, this is an all-day meeting, so you probably want to sit rather than just stand. So we got plenty of seats still available. And in a moment, I'll ask my colleagues to close some of the doors so we'll get underway. Hopefully everyone had a good opportunity to visit with each other at the resource fair. Forrest, let's go ahead and close the doors and then people can trickle in as they need be. Thank you so much for being here in person. We are also joined by several hundred people online. My name is Wade Crowfoot, and I serve as our California Natural Resources Secretary. And today, I am, of course, proud to co-chair our Wildfire and Forest Resilience Task Force with my colleague Jen Eberlein, who leads the U.S. Forest Service here in the Region 5. We have a great day planned thanks to our organizers. It will be, I think, substantive, educational, somewhat interactive, and we have a full agenda for the day, so we'll get underway. I want to start with a thank you, and that thank you is to the Federated Indians of Great and Rancheria. They are our major sponsor today, and in just a moment we will benefit from a tribal introduction and greeting from a leader of Grayton. But I also want to acknowledge our host today. It was actually 3 years ago next month that this task force held its first regional meeting at the Sonoma Fairgrounds. Raise your hand if you were there. Wow, a good number. So this task force is all about our federal agencies, state agencies, local agencies, and counties and tribal governments coming together to move further and faster to address the catastrophic risk of wildfire. And we came to the realization that that can only happen by regions and regional leaders leading the work. And so 3 years ago, we met for the first time in a region in Sonoma, and since then, every other meeting of this task force is somewhere around the state. And we are really excited to be in Marin today to learn about a lot of the innovation that this county is actually driving forward for the whole state. I want to give a shout out to the Marin Wildfire Prevention Authority, Bill Keene and Mark Brown for hosting us. For Fire Safe Marin, Jen Gauna and Meg McCabe. Can we give them a round of applause? And then a big meeting like this that, of course, includes tours tomorrow involves a lot of support that we receive. So I want to just quickly run through our sponsors. Again, the Federated Indians of Great and Rancheria, Caltrans, CAL FIRE, Coastal Conservancy, Sonoma Water, Cal Forests, Marin Water, Fire Aside, the One TAM Partnership, Marin County Parks and Open Space, Marin County Fire Department, California Association of Fire Safe Councils, Sonoma Technology. So let's give a shout to, give an applause to all of those folks. So we have come such a long way in the last several years in partnership with our federal partners at the U.S. Forest Service. And I can say sincerely, and I know Chief Tyler and others would agree with me, that the partnership between our state agencies and our federal agencies, the U.S. Forest Service particularly, has never been stronger. And I have to say that is primarily thanks to Jen Eberlein, who has served as the Region 5 leader here for U.S. Forest Service, and of course her predecessor, Randy Moore, who went on to become the U.S. Forest Service chief. I was looking back in old meeting minutes and realized that we launched this task force, Randy and I. But Jen, you have been an incredible partner over the last several years, and I am so thankful for this. The reason I'm thanking her is tomorrow is Jen's last day. She is retiring from a distinguished career in public service at the U.S. Forest Service, and I want to say on behalf of the entire task force and all of our partners, thank you. You have been a collaborative partner, you have been communicative, you have been visionary, you have been forward, outcomes focused, and we are deeply thankful for all that you have done. So, yeah. So our team, Patrick and Kristen and Forrest, put together this beautiful, beautiful photo montage of the landscapes that we're working to protect. And I think it's a fitting tribute to you. Hopefully, Jen, you can put this up and you'll remember us doing the work moving forward. Just so appreciative for all you've done.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to give you the mic.
Great. Well, that was unexpected. Thank you so much. Again, when I was here driving up, I went, what a way for me to have, my last real official meeting was with all of you. This has been the task force, as Wade had said, has been such a priority for me, for the staff that I lead, for working with partners, and the amazing work that we've done together. We have come so far as we've been moving through these challenges together, from data. Who knew how hard that was getting on? The technology, the collaboration, how do we share data? How do we plan projects together? How do we break through, green tape type of stuff? It's been absolutely transformative, and I know that this will continue because of everybody in this room and everybody who's online. So this is such a wonderful opportunity for me to just say thank you to everyone. This task force, our board, our executive board has been incredible. And when Wade says she's really communicative, that's like me texting him all the time, hey, what's up? And what's going on in your world? And here's what's happening with mine. And that's what it takes. So you have to stay connected and you have to know where each other's at. And this has been a wonderful opportunity to do that. So thank you. And I know it will continue to do even just greater things. Thanks so much.
So while we say goodbye to Jen as our chair of the task force, we say hello to 2 new members of the executive committee. We're really proud to have on our executive committee members of CSAC, which are our State Association of Counties, as well as RCRC, which is a caucus of 40 rural counties across California. We talk a lot about the importance of regional leadership, and we mean it. We're putting investments and policy behind it. And so it's critically important to have leaders of RCRC and CSAC. We are very thankful to our 2 supervisors who have served on this to date. Greg, and I know Greg is on a first name basis. Remind me of Greg's last name.
Doug Teeter.
Oh, sorry, Doug. Okay, so that's I get one or 2 flubs a meeting. Yeah. Supervisor Teeter's been amazing. If you have been at a meeting with Supervisor Teeter from Butte County, you know how candid, funny, and direct he has been about the need for the state and the federal agencies to really listen to counties and local communities. And so we're very thankful to have Supervisor Teeter over the last couple of years serve, and we're excited to have Ann Cottrell, who is a supervisor from Napa County, serving in this role. Supervisor Cottrell has been a vocal leader raising the issues of counties on wildfire resilience, and so we're really glad to have you on board. We also had Supervisor Ed Valenzuela from Siskiyou County representing CSAC. Ed did a wonderful job raising the voices for counties, and now we're really excited to have Bobby McCauley, who is the supervisor from Madera County. And so both with Bobby and Ann, we have 2 really focused, really innovative local leaders on our committee. So we're thankful. Let's give you a round of applause before you even do any work. All right, so before we get into the core of the day, which is a lot of discussion and education, we're going to hear from our executive committee members with just any high-level updates or thoughts that they want to provide. And we'll start off with Joe Tyler, who is the Director and Chief of CAL FIRE. Oh, we have our... Okay. Actually, let's do this. Thank you so much, Joe, for being ready to speak. But we're going to hold off a minute. As I mentioned, This meeting is happening and coming together because of the support of so many groups, and Federated Indians of Great and Rancheria is our primary sponsor, and so we are thankful for that. But more importantly, we're thankful to the leaders of this tribal government for really leading us forward in so many ways, whether it's tribal ancestral land return, co-management, reintroduction of traditional ecological knowledge and practices. And so we are so thankful today to welcome Laurel Ross, who is the Vice Chair Emeritus of the tribal government, to greet us.
Thank you, Secretary Crowfoot. Good morning. Thank you. It's my pleasure and honor to be able to open up with a welcome to you all. I not only get to share the day with you with a warm welcome to Marin County, our tribal ancestral lands, but to also share with you a little about the Federated Indians of Great and Rancheria. We are comprised of Southern Pomo and Coast Miwok people. Our ancestral lands are Southern Sonoma County and all of Marin County. We are Coast Miwok people directly from Marin County. We are the only federally recognized tribe in Marin County. We are a collection of survivors who have gone through a legacy of colonialism, displacement, genocide, and a lot of legacy that is dark in our collective history. Part of our humanity, part of our work today is really truth-telling and understanding and learning from the past, as well as acknowledging the truths as hard as they may be. That said, we're a little over 1,500 tribal citizens today that trace our lineage to about 14 survivors at the turn of the century. My tribe, like many tribes in California and throughout the nation, have had a lot of challenges with ill policies that not only removed us from the lands that we steward and had a relationship since time immemorial, but also dramatically changed the environment in which we all call home now. That said, it gives us an opportunity collectively to learn from the past, but also to think about the future. We can't go back, I can't go back to ancestral times, but I can pull forward from the lessons, the values, and ethics that have been carried on to my elders, to our youth. Today, the Federated Indians of Great and Rancheria has numerous partnerships throughout Marin County and Sonoma County. Some of them to highlight is we have an unprecedented relationship with Point Reyes National Seashore. We also just entered, just before administration changed, into a 20-year partnership with the Golden Gate National Recreation Center, which gives us an opportunity since ancestral times to influence and work with the Golden Gate Natural Recreation Center on land stewardship and management. It's an unprecedented time for all of us living through climate change. I would stop and pause at this moment to think about how much change my people have seen, how much change has been seen in your lifetime, let alone the elders that I speak to and I've learned from. Those are lessons that we have to learn from. Those are opportunities in which we gain insights from. Fire can be scary, but it has a life. It is a teacher. It gives us hard lessons, but it also shows and exposes the greatest extent of our humanity when we are open to our resiliency, to our collective knowledge of recognizing that the land is here giving us answers every day. For Grayton, we draw upon those ethics and those values. We recognize, as our chairman likes to say, is that we're all here now, and this is our collective home. I look forward to learning more about your work. Some of you know that we're in partnership with you with the Forest Health Initiative at Tamales area, as well as with state parks and with Marin Parks in various different locations. Marin County is a beautiful space. Since time immemorial, our ancestors have called this home. We have endured through a legacy that has diminished and dislocated our existence here in this land. That knowledge that we hold has been passed on, and we look forward to sharing that with you and for the benefit of protecting our collective home. Today, we start a dialogue that maybe we haven't had before, maybe it's continuing, maybe it's picking up on concepts and ideas. By the time we leave here, let's make sure that we've learned the lessons from each other that help us continue to do the good work, but also to renew and understand that we need each other more than ever, and that the endurance that we have and the legacy of this land to really be able to understand and relate to each other is what the gift fire gives us. So let's not vilify it. Let's not be afraid of it, but let us learn and listen and understand the wisdom in which it teaches us. Let that knowledge, as our ancestors once used with great understanding and profound respect to steward this landscape with fire, know that we have the capacity together to once again really understand and know how to use that as a teacher and the wisdom in a right way. Thank you so much. Happy Conference Day.
All right, before we actually go to Chief Tyler's report, I want to provide Supervisor Cottrell and Supervisor McCauley just an opportunity to say hello and introduce themselves to all of the participants of the task force. This is a big, open, inclusive effort across the state, and I know we're really excited to have you on board. So maybe Supervisor Cottrell first.
Sure. Thank you so much, Secretary Crowfoot. My name is Ann Cottrell, and I am a supervisor in the 3rd District of Napa County. It's the largest geographically in the county and has had a lot of the recent fire events move through the county. I do have to say, since we're here in Marin, my first job after college was with the Marin Community Foundation in their Environment and Human Needs departments, which I feel like that's so much of what we're talking about today. But my background is in land use and natural resources. I'm an attorney by training and served on our county planning commission for 8 years before becoming a supervisor. And right now in our county, fire issues are top of mind for so many residents, whether they're in the hillside communities or in the more urban areas. So we have a wonderful network of fire safe councils who are very active. So I'm really happy to be here learning from everyone. I was happy to be in South Lake Tahoe. I'm so glad that this floor is not an ice rink. And I look forward to learning more today too. So thank you.
Thank you, Secretary Crowfoot, and thank you to the Federated Indians of the Great Rancheria. Appreciate you hosting us today. My name is Bobby McCauley. I am the District 5 Supervisor for Madera County. I can't tell you all how grateful and pleased I am to be here today in this moment in time when so much is at flux. So a lot of folks have come up to me today and they've asked me, are you replacing Ed or are you replacing Doug? And my response very quickly has been, there is no replacing Ed. There is no replacing Doug. But what I can promise to all of you today is that I am here to do the best I can and to learn and to be an advocate for this group, to say the things that can't be said at times by some of my other colleagues on the board, and to ensure that this conversation continues each day between now and our next quarterly meeting, because I think that's where a lot of the work will be done, ensuring that our state legislators are aware of the great work that is taking place here, and that they're instituting that work into their policy. So you folks have a dedicated leader here that is excited and optimistic about our future and what we can all do together to combat not only climate change, but also wildfire and make sure that we use good fire and we recognize the need for possibly some change in the way we manage our lands. So thank you once again.
Well, huge thanks to both of you. Really excited to have you on as part of our task force. Chief Tyler.
Well, thank you, Wade, and good morning, everyone. My name is Joe Tyler. I'm the Director and Fire Chief at CAL FIRE. It is an honor to be here in Marin County, and thank you for hosting us at this location. And a special thanks to the Federated Indians of the Great Rancheria. Truly an honor to be able to have this meeting on your lands and be able to work with you as we can continue forward with our local unit and as a statewide perspective. You know, this is great work of the community and the task force. We have focused so much, as I reflect that I was too here in Santa Rosa in our previous meetings, but a way for all of us to work together, to have an all-in approach, to hear the collective thoughts and ideas of how to combat climate change and how to make our lands more resilient, to learn from each other and to learn from traditional knowledge that has stewarded the land for so long, to recognize that we have talked a lot about fuels in general and recognizing that we needed to get to a place of resilience, to a place where the public accepts good fire back on the landscape, whether that is cultural burning or whether that is prescribed fire. It's a place in which we recognize and have been talking about community risk reduction. And I don't think it takes too much now as a perfect time to have a great agenda today to talk about the public having an expectation that we saw by the passage of the climate bond and Proposition 4, that we and they, the people of California, continue to participate, to move forward, to make California more resilient and a safer place to live. Now, it was 2024, we talked a lot about 2024. We talked about the park fire. We talked about the bridge fire, the line fire, and the airport fire, four of the largest fires that occurred in 2024. But we recognized that the conditions weren't changing. We recognized that we were not getting the precipitation across Southern California. And we recognized that the threats, not only by continuing the work of resilience, the threats were not over. And on January 7th and the days thereafter, 9 fires occurred over Southern California. And it really is going to place a focus today, though we're in Marin County, the focus is a statewide focus where we have to focus on an all-hands approach, an all-in approach of making our lands more resilient, but also our communities more resilient. So I look forward to this discussion today and being able to opine on various subject matters and the panelists, and thank you for being here.
Yeah, thanks so much, Chief Tyler. And I'm glad that we'll spend time this morning doing a deeper dive into the lessons learned from the Los Angeles fires, even as so many agencies are focused on helping the victims of those fires recover and rebuild. I want to next go to our colleague Don Hankins, who is here in his capacity as the leader of the Indigenous Stewardship Network.
Good morning. I want to first begin by acknowledging in Coast Miwok Bodega language, Opu Mikon Toi, which is good morning or good day greetings to you all. Language is a really important thing. In our languages across the state, we have a lot of knowledge about environmental stewardship, and so I think it's important to begin with that. In terms of things happening around the state, there's a lot of great partnerships that are occurring with Indigenous communities, with cultural practitioners, and I'm happy to see as I look around the room some folks locally within the region who are supporting that work within intertribal efforts and so forth. So really exciting times. In terms of the Indigenous Stewardship Network, I have an announcement to share with everybody, and I think Forrest is going to bring up a QR code for everybody here in a moment. But we are searching for a network director for the Indigenous Stewardship Network, and that position is live as of yesterday. So if you know of folks within your own networks, or if you yourself are interested, please apply. We are really looking to advance the work of Indigenous stewardship within the state. With that, I will pass it back. Thank you.
Yeah.
Sure. So it's a little bit more complex than that for us. So Indigenous Stewardship .org is our website for our organization. That address does not have the position description in it, but if you're interested, I have a QR code on my phone that I can share with you. So you can come see it. Thank you.
Great. We're going to get the QR code into a slide later today, and this is your opportunity to go up and introduce yourself to Don if you're interested in sharing that job opportunity. Thanks, Don. So we know that about half of land in California is owned and managed by the federal government. The U.S. Forest Service is the agency that manages most federal land in California, or the largest portion. But another key management agency is our Bureau of Land Management. And so really excited that over the last year, we've added Joe Stout, California Director of BLM, to our executive committee. So welcome, Joe.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Wade, and thanks again to everyone here in Marin, the tribes, local partners. Really appreciate hosting here. I'd just like to say to Jen, I'll miss you as a friend and as a colleague, and so it's great being able to share these last couple days with you here, and just again, appreciate all the work you've done for this task force and working together as federal partners. I'm really looking forward to hearing from Chief Tyler, during this meeting, and some of the lessons learned, as well as a lot of the local communities here that we're going to hear from as far as some of the innovations and tools that you all have been doing to prevent the next catastrophic wildfire. Like Wade said, manage over 15 million acres here, BLM California does within the state of California. Many of the lands with which are within and adjacent to local communities. And so we recently completed an effort where we looked at expediting kind of a programmatic analysis to expedite fuels treatments on almost 1 million acres of public lands that are within that 1 mile buffer of communities. And so there's lots of opportunity as we move forward, utilizing some of the resources here with this task force and hearing from y'all kind of what y'all can help bring to the table and helping us accomplish the task at hand. And so, again, really excited to be here and be part of this task force, and looking forward to the dialogue today. Thanks, Wade.
Big thanks, Joe. And I note that you have part of your career actually being a supervisor of a national forest in California. So your knowledge of federal lands in California will be really helpful in coming months and years. Our task force is rounded out by 2 important state agencies that are sister agencies to our Natural Resources Agency. And so we're joined on the executive committee by our leaders of the California Environmental Protection Agency, think the Air Resources Board and the Water Board, as well as our Office of Land Use and Climate Innovation. So I first want to introduce Katie Landau, our colleague from Cal EPA.
Thank you, Wade. Good morning, everyone. Katie Landau, Special Advisor to the Deputy Secretary for Water Policy at Cal EPA, and I'm very happy to be here on behalf of Secretary Yana Garcia. And first, I just really wanted to, Jen, pass on the Secretary's appreciation for all of the partnership over the last several years, and her congratulations and best wishes for the next adventure that you'll be going on. Much of like a lot of the other agencies up here and represented today, Cal EPA has been deeply involved with the response to the LA fires over the last several months, including helping support the cleanup and hazardous waste and tree debris removal, monitoring air quality, and working to ensure that drinking water is returned so everyone has safe and clean water as soon as possible in their houses, as well as ensuring the protection of our watersheds and the riverways in the area. And I know we'll be hearing more about that shortly. The other thing I wanted to highlight is, looking forward, the State Water Resources Control Board continues to be looking for opportunities to streamline the regulatory requirements to really help support the increased pace and scale with the vegetation management. And so coming in the next few weeks will be a draft of the utility general order. So that would help support the vegetation management our electric utilities are doing throughout the state. So that is just something to keep an eye out if you are interested with that. And with that, I will hand it back to Wade.
Thanks so much, Katie. And lastly, I'd like to introduce Abby Edwards, our colleague from the Office of Land Use and Climate Innovation.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much to the organizers. We're really happy to be here today. My name is Abby Edwards. I'm the Senior Deputy Director at the Governor's Office of Land Use and Climate Innovation, formerly OPR. We are the state's comprehensive planning agency. And as Katie mentioned, we have been really involved in the LA fires and the recovery effort. Our office is the lead agency for the community planning and capacity building recovery support function, working closely with our colleagues at FEMA and OES and LA County and cities, really thinking about how the community can do long-term recovery and focus on the recovery efforts and how we can incorporate resilience into that effort. And so really looking forward to the conversation today and sort of how we can use localized tools and data and resources in terms of wildfire resilience. It's really integrated with a lot of our work, and so just really looking forward to the conversation. Thank you. Thanks
so much, Abby. The last leader I wanted to acknowledge, who I just ran into and had a nice conversation with over coffee, is Assemblymember Damon Connolly. Is Assemblymember Connolly in the room? Excellent. Why don't we, if we could, let's just do something spontaneous, and if you would, just share a little bit about what brings you here. No pressure.
By the way, that was completely spontaneous and no preparation whatsoever. Thank you so much, Secretary Crowfoot. What an amazing panel. And I got to just say, first of all, a privilege to have you here in Assembly District 12. I get to represent Marin and Sonoma counties in the state legislature. Not too bad, am I right? I've been probably to hundreds of events here. I have never seen the parking lot completely full, an overflow lot nearing capacity, and the secretary having to park like a quarter mile away. Yeah, I think we have the right people in the room, and luckily I assume a couple of them are fire marshals. Am I right? Okay, now that we have the bad humor out of the way in the morning. This is the moment we need to be coming together, and it's ongoing work. I had the privilege of being a local official here in Marin before my current gig, and actually helped launch the Marin Wildfire Prevention Authority. The voters stepped up, there were community members involved, people at all levels of government came together to do that. Now I have the opportunity to work with the secretary, his departments, his wonderful staff, to actually further these issues at the state level. In Marin's case, we learned from Sonoma. You'll recall the series of catastrophic wildfires that affected communities in Sonoma County. They offered their experiences, their expertise, their best practices. That in turn helped Marin. Well, now our session just got a whole lot different in the legislature with the LA wildfires. That is literally something we're focusing most of our time on right now. So we know we have a clear mandate together, and that is to reduce risk and to do it in a way that continues to protect biodiversity, enhance our environment, address climate change, tap into indigenous people's practices that we can learn so much about through beneficial fire and other means. And also creating jobs. I was very happy to see, and this looks like an amazing agenda that you're going to be undertaking today, including a program we started called Fire Foundry, which actually is a way for folks who might not otherwise even know they have an opportunity to pursue a fire career, particularly in our underserved communities, to actually get the training, the experience to pursue that career. So you're going to be hearing more about that as well. But fundamentally, we need to do things like managing our forests in a more healthy way to provide folks at the community, neighborhood, and house level with the tools they need to get the job done for themselves. And as part of the risk, and I'll end with this, we know we have an insurance crisis right now. Am I right? I can probably ask who is either at risk of losing their coverage right now or being priced out of the market. It's all too common right now. So I've introduced Assembly Bill 1 this year. Now, there's a separate story about how you get a bill to be number 1. It involves crouching down and getting ready when that desk opens up, which I did, and hopefully it didn't look too bad on tape. But what that bill does is actually improve a program called Safer from Wildfires. It means that it's through the Department of Insurance. If you're a homeowner and you're stepping up, you're managing your vegetation, you're hardening your homes, you're doing all the right things, not only should you not be losing your insurance, you should be getting discounts. We need to be incentivizing folks to do the right things around their homes. That bill is getting a lot of support. It's but one of many that are going through the legislature right now as a part of a package. The final thing I'll mention, and thank you everyone and voters for getting Proposition 4 passed in November, the climate bond. I worked on the section that will bring $1.5 billion to communities for wildfire prevention, and particularly $135 million toward home hardening. So let's keep up the part. Yeah, thank you. So now our job, literally week by week through the budget subcommittee I'm on, is making sure that those dollars are flowing out to our communities, because that's really our mandate, is getting things done at the community level. So I appreciate the continuing to partner, continuing to work with all of you together on these issues, and hope you have a wonderful conference over the next couple days. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, and I'll just reinforce what the Assembly member, shared. Between the governor and the legislature, it's very much of an all-hands-on-deck approach to build our wildfire resilience and reduce the risk of catastrophic wildfire. We talk to leaders, legislators from urban areas, rural areas, north, south, Republican, Democrat. This is truly an all-hands-on-deck moment. So huge thank you for your leadership on this. So really quickly, to go over the agenda, we've got this morning 2 really important panels. The first, a panel of 2 dynamite experts that are going to help us process what happened in the Los Angeles fires and what we can learn from it. Then we're going to do a deep dive into this Marin model that the Assembly member mentioned, which we've taken notice of across California as a really powerful way to reduce risk in communities. Then we're going to take time for lunch and be back on time, because right after that, our director of the task force, Patrick Wright, will identify what our work plan is for 2025. We're very much about setting targets and then holding ourselves accountable. So Patrick's going to share what we have going in 2025. And then I'll actually present how we're going to implement a really important emergency order that the governor issued on March 1st. All about reducing bureaucracy and streamlining the permitting process to actually get these wildfire projects in place. There's a lot of anticipation about how we're rolling that out, including a process to suspend certain permitting requirements. So we'll provide an overview of that. And then we'll finish up with 2 also important panels. First of all, a discussion on specific tools or approaches that communities, local, regional communities are using to protect their communities, build wildfire resilience. A lot of great examples there. And then as Assemblymember Connolly pointed out, we'll end on a discussion around career pathways, building up the workforce that we know we need here in coming years and decades. And then for those of you who will stay, we will have a reception and have time to reflect on all of this together. So before our first panel, I'm going to turn it over to our colleague, Kristen Merrill. We've got a wonderful team at the task force, including Kristen and Forrest, who help these meetings come together. And she's going to lead us through an introductory exercise.
Thank you. First, I want to invite all of you who are standing to find a seat. We have seats in the front row that we had previously put as reserved for our panelists, but please, this next exercise won't work unless you're in a seat. Next, I'm going to ask our online audience to use the poll everywhere that's being made available and answer 2 poll questions asking where your work is based and who you're affiliated with. So, Forrest, we're up. Next, I would like to ask you all that are sitting in the audience, thank you so much. There's like over 400 of you here, don't tell the fire marshal. Just to turn to somebody on your left and introduce yourself. Tell each other about yourselves and where you work. You're going to have a minute and a half. What? Okay, wrap it up. Five, 4, 3, 2, cowbell. I don't have, okay, thank you. All right, so now I want to find out who's in the audience. I'm going to ask you to stand up. So our federal partners, we appreciate you. You are our true partners. Please, anybody from the federal agencies, stand up. Give them a hand. Thank you so much. Tribal organizations, including the Great Rancheria. Anybody from a tribal organization, please stand up. All right. Thank you. Local organizations, local agencies, RCDs, stand up. Nonprofits. I should see a lot of standing up. Excellent. Private organizations, industry, stand up. State agencies. I kind of wanted you guys to do the wave. I should have started over there. And then anybody else? Did I miss anybody? Here's the most important thing. I would like to ask anybody who lives or works in Marin to stand up. Thank you for hosting us in your community. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here. Enjoy, and I'm turning it back to Wade.
Excellent. Thanks so much, Kristen. And thanks to everybody again who's joining us online. It was fun to see that we've got people joining from all over the state and from a similarly broad range of sectors.